Alright, back again for an actual cast. This time, hopefully, we'll get a full game out of it. Will be a bunch of different players, though, this game. Some people getting in, some people not getting in. Palmer Squares, SwitchinLanez, Soleedus, and Scrub. I think the only guys that actually got into this game. Some other guys are probably spectating, but screw them, they're not playing. And we'll just jump right into the pick bans. Alchemist going to be the first ban from the Dire. A lot of people having difficulties dealing with the Alchemist, especially since that new Radiance build. You get Radiance Manta, do like some pseudo mid-game Naga Siren where you're really good at split pushing, cutting creep waves, just farming incredibly quickly. And a lot of people have yet to kind of find the magical touch to get rid of that Alchemist. So instead, Ryrk will just ban that one. He will be drafting over here up against Scrub, and honestly, I have no idea what the average MMR of this game is. Couldn't tell you if I wanted to. Doom will be the pickup for Radiant now, or excuse me, the ban for Radiant. And same deal. We've seen Doom get a lot more popular, especially after that Scorched Earth change. She's just so hard to kill. That damage over time is really difficult to deal with. A lot of people are calling Doom the new Gyrocopter, just capable of so much damage in such a short amount of time. Really hard to bully out of the lane, and a very flexible pick as well. You can play him as a support, a core, you know, two, usually like 1, 2, 3, probably not 2, probably like 1, 3, 4 position, I think, or you run him as a safe lane 2 position, something like that. But a very flexible pick, and Dire going to get rid of the Spectre as well. So Spectre we've seen get pretty popular ever since the creation of the new Cloud9, and Ritsu's been playing it quite a bit. Envy as well on that hype train alongside Arteezy, and a lot of people starting to pick up that Alchemist. They will ban it alongside the Anti-Mage, so it's not often we see carries get banned out this early on instead of mid laners, and we've still got Tuskar, Quap, Shadow Fiend, Lina, Earthshaker, Dazzle. There's so many tier 1 heroes still left in this pool right now. So who does Dire pick? I think, in my opinion, Tuskar is probably the strongest hero. Maybe Tuskar or Quap. One of those two really warrant a first pick. Tuskar, despite his laning stage getting a little bit nerfed with the shards change, I think he's still an incredibly strong hero. He's still great at snowballing in, disrupting a team fight, blocking people out with shards, preventing damage by pulling teammates into the snowball. And instead, they'll go for the Night Stalker, a hero we've seen kind of rise in popularity. I believe we've seen Alliance. I think S4 has played him mid, and we've also seen a couple other teams play him as support. And a really strong support if you can really get a lot out of your laning stage out of the first couple nights. Maybe convert that into a Midas, get some early levels, get an early Aghanim Scepter, a gem on top of that, and just start denying a lot of map vision over here from the opponent. And it looks like the Radiant will actually go with the first pick, Tuskar. Not necessarily a hard counter to Night Stalker. Is fairly good though at, you know, TPing in if Night Stalker's diving a tower, snowballing up, grabbing another hero that's getting ganked. Sigil as well, going to slow him down a little bit. Shard's able to hold him in place or block him off from maybe getting a kill, something like that. So certainly not a fantastic, like the best hero against Night Stalker, but definitely a good hero against Night Stalker. And like I said, Tuskar is just such a strong hero despite his nerfs. He's still really good at doing what he did beforehand, which was disrupt the team fight, get some ganks, snowball, walrus punch, a very flexible pick. Could be an offlane Tuskar, could be a 4-position Tuskar. Ryrk doesn't actually know at this point. I think he's kind of lends himself to being a dual lane hero. And when you pick up a Wyvern as well, you kind of put yourself in the situation where you can run it as a dual lane, considering Wyvern does have the option. She's got a nice bit of damage in that safe lane with the Splinter Bash. She's got some kill potential with Arctic Burn, but she can also heal up her safe lane carry with that Cold Embrace. And that means that Tuskar can bring somebody else like the Undying in lane with him and really start to pressure the enemy team because they know the Wyvern's a nice safe lane support. And Dire, they're going to pick up the Queen of Pain. So Queen of Pain and Tuskar, probably the two, I'd say, better heroes this patch, are going to be picked up within the first pick and ban stage. Dire going to follow up with a PL ban. So not really comfortable giving away the PL, really good at split pushing. Instead, they'll just get rid of him. And now the Radiant, we're running out of carries here, so it's going to be interesting to see who we're going to pick. Obviously, Juggernaut, Gyrocopter, still good contenders to be played as a carry. Shadow Fiend can be played in the safe lane. Queen of Pain as well can be played in the safe lane. Move somebody into the mid lane, maybe like a Windrunner, something like that. Excuse me, but Darkseer will be the ban. Clockwork and Dazzle, probably the more notable heroes that are still in here. I'd say Clockwork, actually probably Dazzle more so. Dazzle really good at just having those TP reactions, TPing to the mid lane, safe lane, wherever, off lane it may be, throwing up the shallow grave, preventing a gank, and maybe turning one around with the shadow wave and the damage from whoever it may be. If it's a Shadow Fiend, really good at TPing in, throwing down the grave. Shadow Fiend turns around, gets a couple raises off. Bingo bammo. You turn around that gank and you end up getting maybe a kill, perhaps even two, depending on how overextending the enemy team is going. And really good against the Night Stalker as well, preventing some of those ganks. So maybe the Radiant going to want to pick that one up, but we'll have to see. Is they've already got kind of a safe support in that Wyvern, and if they go for a Dazzle, they may be lacking a little bit of damage and a little bit of an issue with rotating around, as they won't be able to do so with a Wyvern Dazzle. Not two heroes that you see rotate all that often, especially after a lot of people don't like to scale Poison Touch, and instead Radiant will get rid of the Earthshaker, despite the fact that the PL was already banned out. But they will still get rid of the Earthshaker. A really good offlane hero, good at blocking the creep wave. I think I casted a game a couple days ago, or was it yesterday? Either way, there was an Earthshaker who went safe lane against he went solo off lane against a safe lane Spectre and a Witch Doctor, and he managed to be dominating that lane. He got like a double kill. He went max enchant totem, absolutely dominated the lane. So you can really see how this hero can be flexible and kind of break out that way. And it could have been an issue. They will get rid of it anyways. They will instead pick up the Radiant Shadow Fiend. So a nice grab there. You do have those neutral camps that you can easily walk to. So Quap probably going to dominate the lane early on, especially if she grabs that Null Talisman. Going to have a pretty big base damage lead, and with Dagger, Shadow Fiend really has a lot of trouble going up to the creep wave. Unless somebody can get a good block off, and it looks like it will be. I think this is actually going to be a mid lane Wind Ranger and a safe lane Queen of Pain. I think that's probably how you want to lane it. Even though your Queen of Pain is better at dominating the Shadow Fiend, I don't know. I think it could really be something weird as well. It could be an offlane Windrunner. Moral of the story is we're watching freaking RD2L, and anything can happen in this league. So it's really tough to guess lanes. If I would lane it, I would probably throw the Windrunner mid, Queen of Pain safe lane, just because Queen of Pain will dominate early on. Windrunner will do the same. No matter what, once Shadow Fiend hits that level 5, has the 3 points in a raise, he's really good at coming back in, just spamming down the creep wave, securing at least one of the runes, and just coming back with that flash farm. So whether it's the Windrunner or the Queen of Pain, I think it doesn't really matter. Windrunner, I think both heroes really benefit from the levels that you get mid lane, actually. So I'm not sure who I like more. I think I like the Windrunner more. Definitely has some better potential for roaming around, especially for her safe lane. If she roams around, she can easily show up. Dagger from Queen of Pain, Shackle, Power Shot from the Windrunner, easy gank. Of course, the same could be said if she's already in the safe lane, so you know at that point is completely null. But the Dire will grab the Spirit Breaker, so it could be a dual lane Tusk Spirit Breaker. 2 strength heroes, a little bit tanky in lane. You grab a Ring of Protection on both, maybe a Stout Shield on the Spirit Breaker, and all of a sudden you've got these huge frontliners that are just running at you, and it's a little bit difficult to deal with, especially if you end up on the wrong side of that 17%. You eat a couple bashes, and suddenly you're almost dead. Snowball Shards are going to be enough to secure that kill, and it will be a Lina pick. So maybe an off, you know what, I have no idea. Maybe an offlane Windrunner, maybe a mid Lina, safe lane Queen of Pain. I think this is most likely a 4 position Lina. She is a really strong hero, even without the Aghanim Scepter. But if this is a support Lina, it's going to be kind of awkward because they've got the Night Stalker. And if it's going to be a support Night Stalker as well, both Lina and Night Stalker kind of rely on a little bit of farm. Lina, she likes to get at least her mana boots or brown boots into Yule Scepter. She likes to get that Yule Scepter, set up the stun. On top of that, maybe something like a Blink or perhaps an Aghanim Scepter. 850 pure damage, especially no matter who it's against, Shadow Fiend, Spirit Breaker. 850 pure damage is quite a bit. It's certainly nothing that you can just forget about, throw off to the side, say, oh, she's just a support, whatever. You've got to really keep that in the back of your head. You know, this Lina could take half of my HP pool at the beginning of this fight, and that's something that's really tough to deal with. So probably, if it is a support, not really going to work out as well for Ryrk as I think he's hoping. And they will ban the Necrophos, so a little bit of an odd ban. The one thing that Lina it does have as well is that she's really good at dealing with the Cold Embrace on the Wyvern. And if we look at the Dire, all 4 of these heroes aren't necessarily that scary if there is a Winter's Curse. So Windrunner, Lina, you know, they're not that scary just right-clicking one of their own heroes. Windrunner gets a lot out of Focus Fire. Lina, maybe if she's casted a bunch of abilities and she's got a huge attack speed, but if it will be a support Lina, she's not all that scary. Night Stalker perhaps could be an issue. Queen of Pain as well, not right-clicking that hard, that significantly that it's scary. And it will be a Templar Assassin, so it'll be a safe lane Shadow Fiend, mid lane Templar Assassin. And TA as well, gonna have a difficult time against the Queen of Pain if it's a mid-quap. And I think seeing that TA, you probably do throw the Queen of Pain mid, because the Windrunner's gonna have a much harder time here. Lina perhaps gonna have a hard time here as well if she's gonna be mid. It could be a support Windrunner as well. This draft from the Dire is like, I have no idea what they're thinking right now. And they're gonna pick up a Bounty Hunter, so... I have no idea where they're going this one. I have no idea. Soleedus probably going to be taking up the mid Windrunner, as we usually see him play mid. That means it's going to be a safe lane Queen of Pain, an off lane Night Stalker, and a 4-position Lina, 5-position Bounty Hunter. That's what I'm going with based on who's picking who, and based on their picks in general. I think that's probably the best way to lane it. You could lane it with dual lanes and just have your Bounty Hunter roaming around. So you do a dual aggro lane with the probably the Night Stalker plus... You know what? No, actually, that wouldn't really work out that well. I think you probably just run it as a tri-lane. Bounty Hunter roams around a little bit. Has a little bit of kill potential on this mid lane TA. Can get rid of those refractions a little bit quicker, obviously, with the Orb of Venom. And we'll have to keep an eye on him, as we will pick up the last hits here. Get ready for the laning stage to get broken down, and we'll just go over who's going to be playing who. So we will have Scrub going to be playing the safe lane Shadow Fiend. Zaf will be playing this mid lane TA, and it will be Longer on the Tuskar, and that's going to leave Black Cat on the Spirit Breaker. And last but not least, I'm just going to call him BSM 1017. That's what I'm going to go with, because his name is just gibberish. I think it might be backwards. God, and now, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'm going to call him BSM 1017. He's going to be on the Winter Wyvern, and that's going to leave Ryrk on the Queen of Pain. Palmer Square going to be on the Bounty Hunter. SwitchinLanez going to take up this Lina. Soleedus probably on the mid lane Windrunner, and that's going to leave Wingman on the Wingman himself on the Night Stalker. And let's go. It looks like all 4 heroes from the Dire, maybe 4 heroes from the Radiant, both going towards the bottom rune. It looks like no, Radiant going to be grabbing top rune. Dire probably going to rotate all of them for the bottom rune. Bounty Hunter doesn't have a ward here, so not going to look to place an aggressive ward, try to block off the camp or anything. Just going to get a little bit of a position that maybe he could see who's sticking around the ward. And it looks like Spirit Breaker is kind of drawing out where he thinks the enemy could be. They're not there, though. And SwitchinLanez, will it be a mid Lina? No. Right? These aren't support items for a Lina usually, though. It might be dual lanes. It looks like it will be a dual lane quap with Palmer Square. Soleedus will be going up mid lane. And that's going to leave Wingman, as well as SwitchinLanez in this dual lane top. SwitchinLanez probably going to be the one carrying, as yeah, Wingman's got the wards here. So a very odd draft coming out here from Ryrk, and it's going to be exciting to see how this one works out. The Quap and the Bounty Hunter are actually going to be able to pressure the Shadow Fiend very well. The potential, especially once Bounty Hunter hits level 2, and he's got the Janata Strike as well as the Shadow Walk. Palmer Square just trying to block up this, and Scrub, Palmer Square just going to be walking right beside each other. And I'm sure once Shadow Fiend does rotate into the lane here, he's probably going to look and say, it's going to be a tough lane, especially with BSM this far behind. And there it is. Look, they're going to go right onto the Shadow Fiend. They might even be able to get a kill here. We've got another Shadow Walk. And no, there's the charge out on a Ryrk. It looks like he might be able to hold him off a little bit longer. The Shadow Walk is going to get popped. And do they have enough slow and enough damage? It looks like they do. Palmer Square is going to manage to find himself first blood. Ryrk's got to be a little bit careful. No charge for another 2 seconds. Won't use it, though. Instead, we'll just back off. And no, there is the charge. Going to go straight on a Ryrk to blink up under tower, though. And that's going to be the end of that one. Black Cat will just cancel that charge. And now he's got no mana, as well as no Mango to speak of, so not going to be able to pressure around the map globally, and that means the top lane as well as the mid lane going to be comfortable with where they're at. But now the Dire going to be looking for another kill. We've got Void off cooldown. There it is. Longer going to get slowed down. Does have the snowball if he wants to use it. Waiting till the last second. Wingman going under tower. The shards catch SwitchinLanez. Are you kidding me? That could have been the easiest turnaround. Oh, but all right, SwitchinLanez should be dead right now. Mid lane Palmer Square going to harass Zaf out a little bit. Try to eat through the refraction charges with the Orb of Venom. Won't be able to do all that much, and we'll just clarity up mid lane. Somebody has a Sentry Ward. It is Zaf, so he will place it now. Soleedus Doesn't have a sentry ward to deward that one. As top lane snowball in. Now Lowinger looks like he does want to go in it. The snowball shard's not going to be enough. And now Wingman going to throw the void. Lowinger going to back up now. And that's going to be the end of that one as Palmer Squares rotating from behind. Do we have enough mana? Do we have anything here? Looks like no. Lowinger in a whole lot of trouble. Dragon Slave off Mark. Maybe going to survive a little bit longer, but he will go down. And now Bounty Hunter going to find himself first blood and a follow-up kill after that. So not only does he have his boots, but he's now got 351 gold. And he's at level 3, 2.5. So going to be really happy with that. And that's really going to help out his early level 6. And he's going to get a bounty rune on top of that. So even closer to level 3, which means even closer to level 6 for those of you who maybe have some trouble counting. That is how it works. And look at this. Maybe looking for a bottle snipe mid lane. Courier is going to grab sentry wards. Where are they going? They are going bottom lane. So not going to be able to grab them. Ryrk is going to throw out the dagger over here on a BSM. Does have the cold embrace. So not in danger of getting killed there. And Palmer Squares really just waiting around the mid lane. Probably unable to find it since it is going bot lane. And just going to waste a little bit of time. But with the early level 2.5, I'm sure he's comfortable doing so. As he's got a lot out of these early rotations. Managing to get first blood as well as a kill on a Longer. Now SwitchinLanez going to be hitting him a little bit. Wingman will throw out the void. Does have enough mana for a second void. Won't come off cooldown for a little bit though. As it looks like Proton saying, Black Lava, you're the best player. I mean, Sentry Ward going to be placed in this bot lane. Looking for perhaps a lane ward over here from the Dire. Not a place that the Dire would place a lane ward though. But also going to be able to help them find out the Bounty Hunter. Who is... This guy has been mid lane for so long and they know it. They're going to send the bottle all the way around. And it's even a flying courier, so I'm not sure it matters. Palmer Squares finally going to back up. He thinks he's wasted enough time. And he is going to see the courier fly over him as well. So he's going to say, alright, that's it. Courier's gone. He is pinging out in the mid lane. Wants to go for Zaf, who is rotating up for the top rune. Deciding otherwise, though. A little bit afraid of where the Bounty Hunter could be potentially here. And we'll just rotate into the lane. Secure some CS. And instead, Radiant going to grab this bot rune. Is going to get the double rune. So an Invis rune and a follow-up regen. Looks like Winter Wyvern will pop the Arctic Burn there. Maybe to shorten his trip by a little bit since he does grab a regen rune anyways. Now mid lane, Palmer Squares, they know he's there. There's the charge up. TA going to turn it around. There's the refractions as well. Meldstrike going to be off point there, and it looks like they may not be able to get Palmer Squares. Shackle up from Soleedus going to prevent the damage from Windrunner, excuse me, from TA, and that's going to be the end of that one. Palmer Squares probably going to be happy he got out with his life there. And now Zaf, 2 bottle charges. No refraction charges though, unfortunately. Will tank up a little bit of damage, but won't matter as Black Cat maybe thinking about going mid lane again. And it seems like the Dire really getting the most out of the laning stage so far, especially on the back of those 2 kills. But even if we just look at CS, finally the Shadow Fiend's catching up a little bit here. But against an offlaner, you certainly don't want to come out anywhere near this even, as Scrub finally does manage to find his level 4. And on top of that one, we'll just look for the 3 points in a raise. And after that, Ryrk's going to have a really tough time saving this tower, or keeping it alive, I guess you could say, as the Shadow Fiend's just going to flash farm it, split push it so much. Ryrk taking up a little bit of damage. Willie one raise. Palmer Squares is here. They do see him with the Sentry Ward, and maybe they could look to get a kill. Do they have Arctic Burn or Splinter Blast? They do have the Splinter Blast to start things off. Palmer Squares not going to go on a scrub, and they don't have the Cold Embrace. Yes, they do actually. It is off cooldown. Finally, the raise. They are going to turn it around, and there's the Cold Embrace. Ryrk's in a whole lick of trouble right now. He is going to bottle up, turn around, has the blink, as well as the Scream of Pain, and Scrub's got to be careful not to chase this, and Palmer Squares is going to bring the creep wave over to him, and now we've got another Scream. Is it going to be enough? There's Palmer Squares. We'll throw out the shards, but it's not going to be enough. Killing spree now for our Bounty Hunter, who looks like he may want to go on a Scrub, but Scrub will just back up to lane. And what is this item build? Ring of Regen and a Ring of Basilius. So maybe just trying to bling himself out a little bit, but not really going to help him in the laning stage all that much, as Zaf in this mid lane not doing all that great, but also not doing all that bad either. It is 18 for 9 up against the 23 and 11 for Soleedus, who both players will grab the rune of their choice. It will be an illusion rune, not the rune you want. Queen of Pain actually going to call for the rune. Bot lane, top lane. Looks like we're having a dive here. Black Cat does charge up to the top lane. Switching lanes though. One going to keep him alive a little bit longer. It looks like Longer will pay for that one with his life. Do we have another Void? We don't have one for another about 20 mana, it seems, and it looks like they won't be able to get that one off. It looks like SwitchinLanez really chasing this one, and he's still alive, and he will stay alive long enough to get that kill. Not going to tank up enough damage from the creep wave. And a nice play from him. As it looks like they're going on the scrub yet again. They've got the Cold Embrace. Palmer Square's got to be a little bit careful as well as Ryrk. Looks like he is getting charged up very far though. Black Cat has a lot of map to cover if he wants to go in on this one. It looks like now the rotation in from the Tuskar. Lowinger is going to throw out the snowball first. And where's the shards? Not going to be able to get them, but they may be able to find Palmer Squares instead. And it looks like they will do so. Actually, Ryrk turning around in this one has to be really careful. There's the scream of the charge up on the Ryrk, as well as the Cold Embrace. He's going to go down very low right now, 30 HP. Is he actually going to survive? Palmer Squares returning into this one. Wingman's even going to show up. The blink out from the Queen of Pain. Longer's in a lot of trouble now. Has another snowball. It looks like Black Cat is just going to say, you're all on your own now. Tuskar will be able to kill the Bounty Hunter with the shards, and maybe that's going to be worth it, but I'm not 100% sure, as he will go down, pay for it with his life. Wingman going to be able to get 169 gold off that one. And let's take a look at what the recap is telling us. And what it is telling us is that it definitely was worth it for the Tuskar. 432 gold. Will manage to kill the Bounty Hunter. Create a little bit of space mid lane for this TA as well. And all in all, I think that's definitely a fair trade. Overall, the Dire is still ahead by about 2k in gold. Net worth, or excuse me, EXP going to be about 1500. So not that big of an increase on that one, but certainly not poor by any means, as looks like Palmer Square in this top lane now. Looks like he is building in towards an Urn, and that's not going to be bad. Urn is going to help you eat through the refractions of the TA, which is going to be kind of important in these mid-game fights if you just want to throw it there. Does give you a little bit more kill potential, as well as some sustain later on if you want to look to grab some early towers, perhaps an early Roshan, something like that. It is an all-around good item to tank up a little bit as well, which is going to be pretty useful against Scrub, who does have now the 3 points in a raise. And okay, a very early mech build coming out from Scrub. Not something I think I would have seen this game, especially not before boots. And this is quite odd. It does make him a little bit more difficult to gank in lane. And I saw that Ring of Health, and I didn't even think about the mechanism Shadow Fiends. It's been so long since I've seen that. Usually we see him in the mid lane building that mechanism. Definitely haven't seen him in the safe lane building a mech in quite some time. Charge top lane on the SwitchinLanez. Will be able to get the leg sugar. He has Laguna Blade. Black Cat going to be sucked into the snowball, and now it looks like Lowinger is going to be able to get this kill. There's the Walrus Punch, and it looks like it will be a 1-for-1 trade, but certainly not worth it, as the safe lane Lina will trade there. As meanwhile on the backside, they will be able to get kill on the Wyvern. So a 2-for-1 trade across the map here. Maybe going to make it a little bit better of a trade overall, but still, they managed to kill the Lina, which is very important to slow this Lina down. She is going for the Brown Boots Yule Scepter build, as we had talked about earlier on, and after that, if she can manage to get herself the Laguna Blade, they will have the mechanism on the Shadow Fiend, but it doesn't give them the raw HP that something like a Scotty or an S&Y build would give you. And that's going to be an issue, because sure, you can eat a Laguna Blade and then mech through about 200 and whatever, 250 of that, but it still means that you're down about 600 HP at the beginning of a fight or in the middle of a fight, something like that, as it looks like Wingman wants to dive this one, thinking about diving this one, going for the Treads note, so won't be going for the Midas build, not going to be going very greedy. Instead, he'll give his Bounty Hunter a little bit more gold to work with, and that's going to mean an earlier Urn and perhaps an earlier mech for him as well, as we do see the Greaves Bounty Hunter build, fairly popular. Black Cat does think something's going on. It looks like he did see the Night Stalker there. There was an Observer Ward placed. Not sure if he was able to catch that one as a haste rune. Will get pinged out top, and a regen on Soleedus as well. Going to be pretty happy with that one, as it looks like Light Striker Ray going to be using the Jungle Bounty Hunter. In the meanwhile, going to get a kill in this bot lane on this Shadow Fiend, and unfortunately, guys, sorry I did miss that, but probably not much to that kill, as Quap did spend the ult for that one, and now it looks like BSM in a little bit of trouble. They do have the Sentry Ward, so they see him. There's the shards as well as the snowball. Walrus Punch should be enough to secure the kill. There's the Cold Embrace in the backside. Bounty Hunter still alive. Not for much longer, though. Will take one more right click and just die after that, as we do have another shards. Ryrk does have the blink. Will be able to blink away the Splinter Blast. Not enough damage, and Queen of Pain will back out of that one on about 35 HP. No charge to speak of. Shackle up now on a Zap, as well as the Focus Fire. Not going to be enough to get the kill. There's the Void now from the Night Stalker. Darkness was used as well, and it looks like 4 heroes from the Radiant means the Dire really doesn't want to change this one, but Wingman maybe got a little bit of a different idea as myself, and we'll back up. Charge now on a Soleedus, who does have to be careful. Haste Rune going to be running out soon. Does still have the Wind Run if he needs to use it, and it looks like Black Cat will just cancel that charge. And now, how close are we to the Yule Scepter? Not that close, considering it was in the jungle and did get a lot of space from that gank. Looks like they're really giving a lot of space to Palmer Square here, who does go for the 2 points in a Shadow Walk. Not sure if that was a mistake. Normally, you want the 3 points into the Shuriken toss, considering it does bounce by level 6. You want to be able to output as much DPS in a team fight as possible. Instead, though, going to be going for the 2 points in a Shadow Walk. Does give him a little bit more bonus damage, as well as a little bit more time to walk around invis, but not necessarily what he wants. TP home now from the Wyvern, and 4-9, 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes into the game. A little bit more exciting than I had thought. But yeah, the Dire really going to have to turn this one around, as they didn't get as much out of the laning stage as they wanted to with this weird dual lane, especially on the back of that early first blood and the kill from the bounty hunter. I'm really thinking they wanted more Ryrk. Unfortunately forced to go for the double Null Talisman build. Not something you want to do unless you're RTZ playing up against Relic in that mid lane matchup against Quap. Or Puck, excuse me. But looks like there's the shards out to start things off. Not going to be able to chase that one, as he will just blink away and be safe. Top lane now. Homer Squares, there it is. Will find his level 7 here. Not that far off level 8 either, so probably not going to be too far off his Shuriken Toss maxes. Looks like Ryrk in this mid lane will dagger out on his Zaf, but not going to be doing all that much damage, as he will just throw up the refractions. Now it looks like SwitchinLanez is going to show up. Will actually hit that Light Striker Ray. No more refractions. They do have the Sentry Ward there as well. They will throw out the Scream of Pain as well as the Sonic Wave, and it looks like Black Cat will back up. Track on a Black Cat now longer. Will throw out the Ice Shard. SwitchinLanez going so aggressive, and look at this Tuskar trying to punish it with the Snowball, but it looks like he's going to be in a whole lot of trouble now. SwitchinLanez trying to TP out. Will be able to do so, as it looks like the charge in not going to be used. Eul Scepter now finished up. 4-10. There's the Shackle on his longer, and it looks like he might be in a little bit of trouble. Does have the Stout Shield, and now Wingman's gonna show up. There's the Scream of Pain. The track as well, gonna give him the bonus gold there. Shuriken Toss gonna be thrown out. Now BSM gonna rotate in. Does have the Winter's Curse as well as the Cold Embrace, but it looks like the team fight's over. So too little too late for this Winter Wyvern. The Dire's gonna split up, and that's really what they need to do during the nighttime. Bot lane Scrub's got to be a little bit careful. Wingman is getting pinged out now. There's the rotation in from the TA, and are they gonna be able to try to turn this one around? Wingman is here alone, so he doesn't have that much kill potential, and it looks like Zaf still searching. Now Quap, looks like everybody rotating to this bot lane. There's the mechanism. Excuse me, now finished on the SF. Sentry Ward going to be placed, and they do see absolutely everybody for that brief 10-second period. They know exactly where the Wyvern is. So I believe it's still a 10-second period. Yeah, so there it is. They do see them walking around, and they know exactly what's going on. So instead, they'll stick behind their tower. They know they've got 3 heroes, but instead, they'll buy a little bit of space for Soleedus, as well as for Ryrk. He does manage to finish up his treads. Probably going to try to finish an Aghanim Scepter after that. Could go for something really safe, like a Eul Scepter, considering he is only the offlaner. But he did get quite a bit out of the offlane. So I think he's comfortable getting an Aghanim Scepter follow-up here. And it looks like SwitchinLanez. There's the Eul Scepter follow-up. Light Striker Ray going to be a little bit off the mark. Will still catch Scrub, though. Does have the mechanism. Is he going to be able to live long enough? No. They will be able to secure that one with the Shuriken Toss. Wingman will eat the Winter's Curse, but now they won't have it for this team fight. They do track up on a Zap now. It looks like in the backside, Tuskar will manage to get a kill on the SwitchinLanez, and there's the charge in now, as well as the Snowball. Does to be used, and they bring in quite a bit of heroes, and can they chase this one under tower? Wingman is just so fast during nighttime, and instead, they'll just back up the Radiant with 4 heroes under tower. Not confident in getting that kill, and now they got to be a little bit careful. There it is, the Void over here on a BSM. Now the charge back up on a Wingman. It looks like Zaf doesn't want to give this one up just yet, but Soleedus is in the backside. They've got to be careful. The blink up onto Wingman, and he's still alive. There's the Shackle, gonna catch 2. Black Cat's gonna go down. The Walrus punch down to Soleedus. He's gonna try and win run out of this one. He's getting blocked up though. The shard. Soleedus is so low right now. Will be able to get out, and now the Cold Embrace not gonna be able to secure his life, as he will eat the Light Striker Ray, and it looks like it will be a 3 for, I believe, 2 trade overall in that elongated team fight. So a nice little trade from both teams here, but the Dire really coming out on top of that one. 15-5. Net worth about 5k ahead. EXP, sorry, 5k ahead. Net worth about, they're the exact same. Bounty Hunter really doing a lot of work with these track kills, and that's absolutely huge. You really don't want to be fighting up against nighttime. You've got a lot of reduced vision. Night Stalker is just so much stronger. He's a 4-position support, but this guy just hits so fast with 95 base damage. He's got 2 points in a Crippling Fear, which a 6-second silence through that nighttime is just devastating. I believe the Wyvern got silenced in that fight, and he had absolutely no way to do anything there. Had the Cold Embrace, I believe, but had to hold on to it for so long. And Crippling Fear is just so annoying. Even giving that mischance, so even throwing out the silence on his Zaf is a huge issue. And he does go for the blink before the treads here, which means he doesn't have all that much damage. And look at that. There's the Eul Scepter to start things off. The charge on to SwitchinLanez. Zaf in a little bit of trouble. Crippling Fear to be thrown down, but there's the charge in from Black Cat. The blink in from Ryrk will just turn around, and now it looks like they want to go on the Spirit Breaker here. Track up. Scrub. No, they can see him. No. is going to eat a Light Strike Array. A Laguna Blade as well. There's the Mechanism to eat through that one, though. And now it looks like Black Cat going to charge through 3 heroes. Requiem not going to hit on anybody, though. And now the blink up on his SwitchinLanez. Quap in the backside will use the Sonic Wave to get a kill onto the Shadow Fiend. And now SwitchinLanez is going to throw himself up with the Yule Scepter. Shackle not going to latch onto anything. BSM still alive. Will die not before he's able to get out the Winter's Curse on a Palmer Squares. And it looks like Zaf and Black Cat are going to be able to get the kill now, as well as the Palmer Squares as well. The Night Stalker are going to be going down there. Another Shackle here. And look at the play from Soleedus. Zaf, they know where he is. Shards to come out, as well as the Snowball to bring them in. And it looks like the blink up from Ryrk, maybe enough to keep him alive a little bit longer. And it will. He does have the Scream. Now, it looks like they will go on to Soleedus, and they do have the Trap to slow him down, as well as the Refractions to keep the TA alive a little bit longer. Longer seems like he wants to continue on this one. Has the Walrus Punch. Ryrk, not that much mana, though. Has to be careful. Now the wind run up from Soleedus will continue to chase this one. Shackle won't latch on his half, and now they do have the opportunity to turn around if they want to do so. It looks like instead they'll just back off, and thank you, because now I'll be able to at least take a breath here. And what a team fight that was. Still, though, the Dire really coming out ahead. We went from 15, and it looks like the charge up now. Are they going to continue to chase this one? Splinter Blast. SwitchinLanez. It looks like they do want to go on this one. BSM is, excuse me, going to use the Arctic Burn, but Black Cat just going to cancel his ultimate there. And was able to find 6 towards the end of that team fight and get a kill onto the Night Stalker, which was very important for them. As if they don't get that Night Stalker, they take a much poorer trade. And instead, both teams getting 3 kills, but the Dire not coming out ahead on that one. They're still ahead overall, but they do manage to lose a little bit of their lead now. It looks like they do have to be a little bit careful. Scrub does take a little bit of damage, as well as BSM from the Queen of Pain over near towards top rune. Power Shot even going to hit there, and now there's another track on a BSM. Probably could have killed him with the Shuriken toss, but instead Queen of Pain looking for the rotate in. Doesn't have her ultimate for another 30 seconds, and it looks like she'll just decide otherwise here, as they're just too tanky. But 2 heroes tracked up now. As it looks like Night Stalker does stack the Ancients there. Not really sure. They don't really have heroes that are great at stealing the Ancients. Charge up now into Palmer Squares. It looks like they do want to go for this one. Do we have a Dust Up just yet? It looks like no. Darkness is going to be popped in the backside, and both teams just going to back off after that one. Although Black Cat, or excuse me, not Black Cat, Longer getting really aggressive in the enemy jungle, and they do have eyes on him. He is tracked up. Surprisingly enough, they're not going for him. Wingman, though, deciding that maybe he wants to go for this one. Charge up now into the Queen of Pain top lane. Does have enough mana to blink out, and very close to having enough mana for her ultimate. But that's all she'll have mana for, and now it looks like she will blink away. TP up here from Soleedus, who does have the bottle. Shackle up on a Black Cat. Does have the Nether Strike. Will use it, and he won't be able to get the kill. There's the shards up. Snowball in. Walrus Punch. Anything from Longer. Gonna eat the Light Strike Array. Requiem to be channeled. Not gonna hit on anybody. Palmer Square's the only one that's gonna eat a little bit of damage. Wingman coming in from the backside. Shackle shot to land. Scrub gonna be latched to the tree. Now there's the Yule Scepter up onto the Wyvern. Zap gonna use the Melt Strike over here on a Palmer Squares. The backside Laguna Blade onto the Wyvern. Scrub in a whole lot of trouble now. Gonna eat a dagger. Still chimed up. Wingman not gonna be as fast now that nighttime's faded out. Does have the Void. Will use it. Looks like Scrub's gonna go down. Another charge in from Black Cat onto Palmer Squares. Will buy his team a little bit more time, but the Shackle up again. Soleedus is gonna be able to hit that one, and it will be a 4-for-0 trade alongside a whole bunch of tracks for the Dire. And just like that, look at that lead. Absolutely disgusting. I have no idea what Black Cat was thinking charging into that fight. And now 22-8, we managed to find ourselves with 30 kills overall, 20 minutes into the game, and a massive net worth lead this early on. And this is exactly what a Night Stalker wants. It's going to move into the Medallion, oddly enough, which does give him a whole lick more Roshan potential, and not really going to do all that much. It's only -3 armor, but with the Focus Fire, it's certainly useful. Does give them some overall team fight potential here as well. They do see the ward get thrown up now. But really, I think he just tries to get the Aghanim Scepter as soon as possible. Moving to a gem after that. Roshan is getting pinged out here. They do say, hey, we've got the completed medallion. SwitchinLanez not bad whatsoever at dealing with Roshan as well. Light Strike Array good at just stunning him up without breaking his Lincolns. And Soleedus now with the finished Aghanim Scepter. We'll see if he's going to move into the crit next. And I imagine that's what you'll grab. Could get the Mjolnir for a little bit more team fight, but the crit stick really going to mean that you'll be able to lock down a hero and blow them up, especially when you've got some tankier heroes like Black Cat with Treads Earn, as well as Scrub with the Mechanism Tread. So probably going to want to go for the crit here as the medallion, or excuse me, the just saw another medallion get picked up on Bounty Hunter, but as the Maelstrom and the Mjolnir don't really do that much damage compared to the full Daedalus once you can complete it. Charge up now into Palmer Square in the mid lane. And are they going to continue to go on this one? Do they even have True Set? Yes, Dust Up, Nether Strike, Splinter Blast. And it looks like he should go down the mech to keep him alive a little bit longer. And there's the Winter's Curse. Oh, no, Wingman, Palmer Square still alive. but he will go down to the backside, and a lot of TP rotations in from the Dire. Won't be able to continue this fight. Switching lanes, probably should have just canceled that one. Now charge bot lane onto Ryrk. They do have a track onto the Spirit Breaker, so they know exactly what's going on. Ryrk will just back up, and now the TP in from Tuskar won't be able to secure the kill, and he manages to find himself phase boots as well as drums alongside 1K, so doing quite well in terms of his net worth here. If we take a look at net worth overall, it looks like both the Quap as well as the Windrunner leading on that one. And sure, the kills from track really do a lot for this, but Ryrk's really been using the space effectively this map, and he's managed to get a lot out of the off lane early on as well. So Ryrk going to be really happy with his performance this game. Not that far off of the mid lane TA, who did play fairly well in her own right. So considering a Quap is second here, I know a lot of that's due to track kills, but realistically, she has farmed quite well. Even going to stack up this creep camp and take it with a couple points in the Scream here, and almost finished the Aghanim Scepter now. And there it is. So the full Aghanim Scepter on a Ryrk. We did think that's what she was going to go for. Really not too many options outside of that. And now with the medallion, we do have 2 medallions on the Dire, which they don't really stack, so they're not really useful in that way. And they're not as useful. Usually you just medallion one hero, blow him up, medallion another hero, blow him up after that. It is a low cooldown that you're able to do so with only one. You don't really need the 2. It does mean in a little bit more of a split up team fight or a ganking, you know, scenario, you do have a little bit more kill potential with the Bounty Hunter as well as the Night Stalker, but looks like Spirit Breaker just going to walk away from this one. I don't think he knew they were there, but he definitely backed up, as it looks like the trap does see them stacking the Ancients. And again, they don't have heroes that are really good at stacking the Ancients, so if the Radiant's really thinking this one through, they're probably saying, you know what, if we can keep the ward on these Ancients, maybe keep an eye on when they're doing them, kill them when they're trying to do the Ancients and steal the stack after that. That's a great way to come back in. And if they can try to get a smoke initiation, maybe come around from the backside since the tower is down, it could be a way for them to come back into this game, steal the Ancient stack, get a couple of kills, and maybe from there start to take a lead. Maybe if you really win the fight convincingly, you can look to a Roshan after that, but it's definitely going to be a difficult feat for them, as they're probably questioning how they come back into this game. Scrub looking to complete a BKB, but Palmer Square now. With the Mana Boots mechanism, Urn, even Medallion, this guy is just going pure utility. He's really useful in these team fights as well as in these solo ganking scenarios. And looks like charge up now. Who's it going to be onto? It looks like it was cancelled actually. It looks probably like it was just used mid lane. Smoke up now from the Dire. They do know there's no wards, and it's daytime now, so they won't have the nighttime vision advantage, but it looks like BSM in a whole bit of trouble here. Scrub got to be a little bit careful as well. A bad angle for a Shackle if they do walk up here, but look at that. They see him place an Observer Ward, and I'm sure they so badly want to pop the nighttime. It looks like Black Cat going to be the one to walk up now, and there it is. The smoke will pop the charge up now, and they will find him. The Shackle will actually latch thanks to that charge, and look at the damage. Track up now, going to be enough to secure that kill alongside the Medallion and the Focus Fire, and it looks like they do want to chase this one, though. There's the shards to catch Palmer Squares. He still has the mechanism, won't get it off, though. We'll just blow up to 4 heroes from the Radiant. And it looks like the Quap with the low ground ultimate will throw it out, will take a bit of damage on a Lowinger, but it looks like now Ryrk with the aggressive blink is in a bit of trouble here. They will get the medallion off onto him, and it looks like Lina will just turn around Laguna Blade onto the Tuskar, and he will go down. Soleedus and Wingman don't want to give this one up. They will dodge most of that Requiem damage, and now there's the power shot. They got to be careful. Shackle shot off cooldown in 2 seconds. 1 second. Just throw the Shackle shot, please. There it is. Won't latch on anything, and now it looks like actually the Radiant coming out ahead on this one. Ryrk in the backside managing to find a DD as 10 seconds before his ult comes off cooldown. There's the charge. Now they will cancel it. Nether Strike on a Ryrk. And will he be able to get the blink on the Melt Strike? No, a double kill and a mega kill now for Zaf. And the Radiant, they were probably scratching their heads wondering how they could come back out of this one. And all it takes is the Dire to have a little bit of an unnecessary team fight. There's the charge up on a Soleedus. Will turn around and get the Shackle off as well as the track. Palmer Square is going to throw out the Shuriken toss as well. Now he's in a little bit of trouble. No dust, I believe. No, they do actually have dust, so he's got to be careful here. As it looks like there's the charge up yet again. Palmer Square snowball in as well. He's in a bit of trouble now. There's the mechanism trying to keep him alive a little bit longer. Now it looks like Shuriken will bounce around a little bit. Black Cat not dead just yet. Wingman throwing around the void, and he will be able to get that kill. Shards up now from Lowinger. And do we have a snowball back in? It looks like no. Will take a little bit of damage on top of that medallion, but not enough to put him in kill range whatsoever. And they will at least get the Spirit Breaker. 14 to 26, but the Radiant is on the come up. They're really coming back, and they're bringing this one. close to the 2500 EXP mark, and when you've got a Shadow Fiend as well as a TA, one more team fight like that, and that's an easy Roshan. And they've got really good flash farming mechanisms in the side blades, as well as the raise mechanism on Shadow Fiend. So it's really easy for them to just flash farm after winning a couple team fights, get a Roshan, and come back, especially on the backside of this BKB. They're going to have a lot less options for control for the Shadow Fiend now, and it's going to be difficult for them now. So the Radiant really coming back, despite the Dire having a pretty massive lead early on top of a couple track kills. And by a couple, I mean quite a few track kills. It looks like there it is. Ryrk going to be able to find BSM, who was really aggressive in lane. But that Observer Ward finally going down was what secured him that kill. And just blinked him with the screen. Now getting charged up with that blink off cooldown for another 1 second. Should be able to get out of this one. Now Drum's going to be used. There's the Nether Strike, the blink meld strike, and just look at him blow up. Darkness was used, and now to the backside it looks like Bounty Hunter. Did I just see him? Yes, I did. So there's the track onto the Shadow Fiend. He's got to be careful though. Trap will get laid down, but Wingman will just right click that one. Does have the completed Solar Crest as well as 320 gold. TA going to throw down another trap. They do dust for good measure, but no Bounty Hunter around for them. And instead, Black Cat will just return home. Soleedus now. Does look like he's finished up the Crystallis at the very least. Or the Crystallis, whatever you want to say. I hear too many people say Crystallis. But anyways, he has finished it up, which does give him a lot of damage potential with that critical strike here. So they do have to be careful. Even somebody that's tanky, like the Spirit Breaker's got to be careful. And it looks like it was a double smoke play. No, a triple smoke play. Looks like SwitchinLanez, Wingman, as well as Palmer Squares are going to be the ones to smoke up. The Radiant in fairly safe positions right now around Roshan, as well as in their jungle. It looks like Wingman will find BSM, though. Smoke to pop, but he gets caught by the creeps, and now he's in trouble. Is going to TP out Winter's Curse. Just use the Winter's Curse. Oh, no, they won't be able to catch him. Charge up now. It looks like the Yule Scepter from SwitchinLanez. There's the Light Striker wave. Will land, as well as the Laguna Blade. They need the damage from the Dragon Slate, but they don't have it. It's on cooldown. Shards up now. Will miss on a SwitchinLanez, and it looks like now they're picking up Palmer Squares. They will be able to find him with the dust, and now he's in a lot of trouble. There's the Sigil as well, just keeping him slowed down. Charge up as well as the Snowball in, and look at that, he will go down. Not Laguna Blade, will mech up a little bit there, but Nether Strike, Walrus Punch will be plenty of CC as well as damage to kill him. And they're slowly finding their way back into this game. An unsuccessful smoke from the Dire, and that's kind of a big issue for them, as they were looking at that to bring them back in a little bit more. As look at that, now only a 5k lead, despite that it was about 8, almost 9k earlier on. Only a 5k lead, and it looks like Soleedus does clear these Ancients. I believe he cleared them. I hope I didn't miss the TA. I actually think the TA may have just stolen them there. She's got 12,000 net worth. I believe she actually may have just stolen them. I saw her and the Tuskar walking away there, and that's what I was saying. Just clearing through these Ancient stacks, you know, stealing these objectives from the Dire is so important. And our next big point of contention, probably going to be Roshan, as Radiant has a lot of potential to do it really quickly here. The Dire may want to look to steal it for themselves and try to deny it, as it looks like Blink now going to be grabbed from Soleedus instead of the completed Daedalus here. Wingman will throw down the sentry, but won't find anything, as it looks like TA nearby Wingman as well. Top lane, couple lines getting drawn out. It looks like they may want to charge up onto the Lina, as instead they will just go bot lane with 3 of their strongest heroes, or at least 2 of them. Wyvern, though, a very strong hero, almost completed that Glimmer Cape here as well, which could be really useful against the Lina, who does have the Aghanim Scepter actually, so not as useful. 550 pure damage, I believe now. 650 actually, sorry. But that's a lot of pure damage now, especially when she hits level 16, which she's not far off of. 850 pure damage. Shadow Fiend, essentially half of his HP pool here, just from the Laguna Blade. And with pure damage on the Quap as well, I believe 550 for her. At level 3, yeah, so 555 for her. The Shadow Fiend, even with the BKB, isn't looking that strong. Really needs something like a Scotty to tank up now. And an MKB on the TA. So going to try to deal with that Solar Crest with an MKB. And surprisingly, the Dire just looking to farm out during nighttime here, not getting really aggressive. Despite the fact that they've got the Night Stalker, the vision advantage, they will just power shot in a Roche pit here. A little bit concerned that maybe the Radiant's trying to sneak one, and I think you just smoke in with the Shadow Fiend as well as the TA, show with the other 3 heroes, and easily steal a Roshan there. Mid lane, it looks like Quap is going to make a go on to, who was it? It looks like it was the TA, and she is at about half HP, bottling up, charge back in now from Blackclad, does have the Nether Strike, is going to get silenced up as well as the Laguna Blade. Cold Embrace though, keep him alive a little bit longer, magic damage trying to chew through that, and there it is, the ult from the Wyvern onto SwitchinLanez. He will Yule Scepter himself up. Now Zaf in a little bit of trouble. Snowball in. 2 kills now. Nobody's dead just yet. Mechanism keeping Radiant alive a little bit longer. Zaf barely getting out of this one. No, will die. Wingman gonna be able to secure that kill. No, it's the Queen of Pain in the backside. And it looks like it will be a 3-for-1 trade so far. Ryrk doesn't want to give it up. Will eat a couple stuns here. And it looks like it will go down. A 4-for-1 trade. And he was tracked up, but really, that's not worth it whatsoever. The bonus thing here is that the TA is dead, so they're not comfortable with going for a Roshan here. Fight recap. There it is. So, wow. That is huge. I didn't expect it to be that massive. 2,800, 3,000 gold exchange for what it's worth. EXP exchange, only about 3,000-ish. Not that big of a deal. 4,000, whatever. So, not that huge of a difference there. But EXP is the main thing, and look at that. It's going up. Net worth as well, actually. Both of them just so huge right now, as it looks like BSM wants to start things off. Charge bot lane to the creep wave. Will pull Roshan out, but they don't really have the kill potential to go for it. And it looks like they will even get a nice D ward over here. I believe they saw that sentry ward, though. Palmer does have the Guardian Greaves as well as an Observer ward of his own. And they do have vision up top here of Roche, and I believe, or around Roche, excuse me. Of course, you can't get vision in the Roche pit. Power shot going to be thrown out. Palmer Square going to be the one leading this one. And maybe they're thinking that they want to take it alone. So the blinking from Soleedus, and yeah, this is it. They're going to go for taking it, but SwitchinLanez and Wingman just walking in. So it really takes away from the fact that they tried to blink in, and now, yeah, Spirit Breaker pinging it out, saying, guys, they're going for it. Look at that medallion and Solar Crest. Today I learned that they stacked. I did not know that. I thought you could only use one at a time. I guess you can only use one of the same thing. And there it is. They will grab the Aegis. Who's it going to go for? It looks like it will be going on to Soleedus now. And they will throw the Ice Shards in. They don't want to fight this one up. Track now going to be used on a Longer. And they will spend the Spirit Breaker active to give them a little bit more move speed and back up out of this fight. $1,500 gold now on the Night Stalker. So can start to work on his Aghanim Scepter if he wants to do so. Hasn't spent it just yet, so maybe considering another item. But I really don't believe there's another item that you want to grab here. Aghanim Scepter just so useful. Especially now, 34 minutes in. Vision is very important. Early on, it's important for ganks, but later on, it seems like ganks are just so much more important because you can lose or win a game just off of a gank if somebody's got no buyback, something like that, which with the track on Bounty Hunter, you can be aware of. And for a lot of people that maybe weren't aware of this or aren't used to it yet, if you do track somebody up, they are able to see how much gold you have if they do just click on the little debuff that track applies. And it looks like they are going to go down on Palmer Squares. Dust to start things off. He's got the Greaves though, and it will purge off the dust. Now he's invis yet again. Zap in the middle of this one. Snowball in on a Ryrk now. He's in a lot of trouble. Uses the ultimate, but not before he goes down. Wingman now will rotate in. SwitchinLanez here as well. Soleedus running in from the backside. Does have the Aegis as well as the Shackle up on a Black Cat. There's the track as well as the Focus Fire. He's still alive though, and it looks like Power Shot way off mark. Still going to use the Focus Fire. Black Cat will go down, and now it looks like Yule Scepter up. We do have the Light Strike away. They will be able to find themselves BSM. It looks like Crippling Fear will silence him up long enough to prevent him from getting off a Cold Embrace or anything else like that. Zaf way up in the enemy jungle. They haven't found this tier 1 just yet. Now the Dire just going to walk down bot lane, or excuse me, top lane. And it looks like they will take the net worth back in their lead a little bit. Or not just yet, but it is about evening out. EXP starting to go back their way at least. Focus Fire now onto the tier 2. Shards trying to buy him a little bit of time, but it will go down. And smartly enough, they won't waste the Fortify on it. TP home from the Shadow Fiend now. A Scrub. Looks like he is moving towards the Scotty. And It will be the Aghanim Scepter. I believe the Aghanim Scepter for a wingman. I really hope he doesn't go for a BKB here. Or an SNY. God forbid he goes for an SNY. Aghanim Scepter is just so useful on the Night Stalker. Solar Crest as well, though, has proven its use. Has helped him get a ton of physical damage out as well alongside that Focus Fire. Quap just going to use the Sonic Wave bot lane since it is on a low cooldown there. Wingman just waiting for the Ancient stack here. The Spirit Breaker does see him since he is on top of... I mean, they've got the ward anyway, so it doesn't matter that the trap's there, but they will see that. Maybe going to look to steal it as Soleedus doing a good job of playing aggressively in the enemy jungle with his Invis rune, so giving his team a lot of information saying, okay, nobody's in their jungle. We see a bunch top lane, or we see a couple top lane, which means they're most likely all top lane. Maybe we got to get ready to defend here or try to split up farm as much as possible as Queen of Pain. Looks like she's trying to take the Ancients here. And... alright. Really? Okay, there we go. Back in it. We're not done just yet. Reborn can't keep me down. Did everybody disconnect is what I'm wondering here. As I think the servers may have gone down. No, everybody didn't disconnect. Looks like we're actually going to come back into a middle of a team fight. Age is going to go down onto Soleedus. They've got the Winter's Curse. They may be able to kill him twice. SwitchinLanez going to rotate up now. Soleedus does have the win run. Will pop. It will still go down though. SwitchinLanez going to try to turn around for all he can, but won't be able to do so. Quap ulti will land on multiple heroes, but not nearly enough damage to turn this one around as it looks like. Lincoln Sphere and Lotus Orb both going to pop here now. Ryrk in a whole lick of trouble. Does get blinked on, and look at that Walrus Punch now. On to SwitchinLanez, charge up on a wingman, buyback from Soleedus, really needs to make this one worth it. Shackle Shot not going to be used just yet as it looks like Snowball up over here on the Ryrk. He's in a bit of trouble now. Shackle Shot will catch longer and he is tracked up as well. He will get, Cold Embrace and keeping him alive a little bit longer here will finally go down, but they only get one kill. It is a dominating streak though, and they will get it onto Soleedus, so I will say buyback, probably worth it there. Probably worth it there. They probably want something more. Maybe going to look to get an objective after this. Ancients, not stacked, so won't be able to take those. And looks like Soleedus will just be comfortable farming out. But they will find Zaf and Ryrk's here as well as the Bounty Hunter. Wingman's here as well. Power Shot will go out. He is hasted up though. And there's the Shackle Shot. Won't launch now. It looks like there's the charge up over here on a Wingman. He will get caught out a little bit. There's the ult from the Wyvern though, doing so much damage. Zaf will be able to get out. Power Shot. Not enough thanks to the Glimmer Cape. And it looks like BSM, dying for his team's sins, will be the one to go down there. But instead, he will be able to save the TA with that Glimmer Cape. So a nice play from him. Sacrificial Lamb. And alright. Things starting to even up a little bit better here. Net worth there. Evening out. EXP. Dire slowly bringing it back in their favor. Net worth, though, very even despite the Dire having about an 8k advantage early on. Wingman just kind of hanging about. Does he have anything on this courier? Just some wards here, so we'll look to ward up. Observer ward about to go down, though, and he should see that if he's paying attention. Did the ward block the tree that whole time? I believe it did. And that's kind of a minute detail. Not even I would notice. Not saying I'm the best player or anything, but I wouldn't notice that whatsoever. The observer ward in the tree keeps it dead for that long. I'll have to keep an eye out on that. You know what? The thing is that putting the observer ward on the tree as well means you can put it right there. And it does give you some vision down here as well. Putting it up here, it can block a little bit of vision, but instead, they're going to get the full vision, and Dire doesn't take that ward either, so maybe a nice play there that I wasn't really paying attention to, but if it was intentional, good on you to whoever did place that ward, as it died before I could see. What's the heart word? So maybe if I can find another one. It looks like it was BSM, aka I want this to end. Place the ward, charge up now. It looks like they want to go on a wingman. Splinter Blast going to be way off mark though. Won't be able to hit him. And now it looks like the Tuskar agreeing on this one as well. Doesn't have the Blink Dagger. Does have the Lotus Orb. Darkness going to be used here now. Do have the Nether Strike to buy his team some time. Won't let the charge hit though. And now Wingman is going to be able to keep alive a little bit longer. There it is. He will go down. Lotus Orb a little bit too late. Zap for the DD though. Ryrk taking a whole lot of damage. There's the Evil Scepter up. Does have the Light Strike Array. Will use it and be able to catch Zap on the backside of that one. Palmer's Square will just throw up the track on a BSM here. Charge away from Black Cat. And he will be able to survive. Has a BKB. Almost died there mid lane. They're not done just yet. Zap will get focus fired. And look at this. He can turn around with the focus fire on a Windrunner. And just look at the attack speed. No, not going to be all that much. It looks like they will turn around, get a kill now on his Soleedus. And he did buy back earlier on, so dead for quite a while. Blink up on a Wingman, as well as the Solar Crest will be enough to kill him. And it will, yes. 80 seconds without Soleedus. 60 seconds without Wingman. He will buy back. And now Palmer Square in a whole lot of trouble. It looks like Lotus Orb, Yule Scepter, SwitchinLanez going to throw him up. And it will just end after that, as he does get Yule Sceptered himself there. Buyback now on a Wingman, and that's really not what he wanted to spend it on. Going to be really far away from his Aghanim Scepter now, and Roshan respawning in about 2 minutes 30 seconds. 42 minutes into this game now, and it's certainly a back and forth game. So both teams really playing well, but both teams also giving up a lot more than they probably should have. The Radiant going to start taking the net worth lead, as well as the EXP lead back a little bit stronger here. As looks like Dire really sticking around in the top lane. And it seems like we will kind of quiet down the game a little bit after that buyback on the Night Stalker. Both teams just going to back off each other and start farming up a little bit. Should probably bring up some sort of game status. Net worth lead will be taken by the TA as well as the Shadow Fiend. Importantly, these guys are absolutely crushing the enemy team now. About 5k up on the Queen of Pain is Zaf now, and with that BKB, he's going to be so hard to control. He even has 2.5k on top of that one, so we'll look towards something like a Daedalus perhaps. He could go for a Butterfly, but I don't think it's that effective against the Windrunner. She's hitting you so much that, well, you know what, it is still good. Butterfly, 30% evasion is good up against the Focus Fire, I'll give her that, but Soleedus certainly does have the goal to start moving into an MKB, if it will be the Butterfly pickup on Zaf. So maybe Soleedus should probably save that a little bit. Hold off and see what's going to happen here. Zaf just running around bot lane alongside Scrub here. The Dire is nearby though. Zaf with the aggressive blink up. Does have to be a little bit careful, as it looks like they will just walk down bot lane. 4 heroes grouping up now. Tuskar not that far off, but it looks like they will blink up. Initiation on Tuskar. Will buy himself some time with the Snowball. Darkness going to be used as well. There it is. Will use the Lotus Orb, and it looks like he'll be able to blink out of this one and stay alive a little bit longer. Wingman silencing himself up there. Wasn't able to get off the Void and prevent him from blinking away. So nice play from him there with that Lotus Orb. Scrub just going to chew through some of these neutral creeps, and it looks like they are going to smoke up here. Does somebody have a smoke? Nope, just all hanging around each other, holding hands while they do neutral creeps, because why not? Sentry Ward for the Radiant will go down there, but didn't really do anything anyways. Snowball from Longer in this mid lane. Going to secure him a little bit of CS here as Ryrk with 2.7k. I think he needs to... I think instead of the Lincoln Sphere, he probably had to go for something like an AC. I do understand the Lincolns, but I think it just leaves you with not enough damage here. You're really putting it out for the Windrunner to do a lot of DPS, but after that buyback, she doesn't have all that much. I guess SwitchinLanez does have the Aghanim Scepter, so he's got a nice bit of DPS. Level 20 with a Hex now as well, so that Hex could be very useful in the next team fight. Roshan is up, and the Radiant is aware of this. The trap will show them. Blink in from Ryrk, and now the Radiant knows that they're trying to take Roshan very far away, though. Do they have TPs? Yes, TP Shadow Fiend. Yeah, they do have the TPs up, but it's all the way at the mid tower. And they can chew through this. They just need the Focus Fire. But Soleedus used it before the Lincolns was popped. Can they actually get it before the Radiant shows up? It looks like they should easily be able to do so, as he will go down now. And if only they were able to react to this a little bit quicker. BSM, imagine. It looks like they actually do want to fight it. There's the charge up. SwitchinLanez going to try to TP out, and he will do so. There's the ult from Queen of Pain. Not going to hit on absolutely anything, though. And now without SwitchinLanez, they're in a whole ton of trouble. Shackle not going to latch either. There's the snowball up, and it looks like it will be going over here on a Ryrk as well as Soleedus. And maybe, just maybe, the Dire can actually get out of this one, though. It looks like they will be able to find Palmer Square. Maybe just hitting him outside of that range, and they won't be able to kill him. They didn't have the dust, only a Sentry Ward, and the Dire are going to be able to disengage from that one almost perfectly. And it truly was almost a disaster on the back of that Quap ulti hitting nothing. If they had a little bit more catch on the side of the Radiant, which they do have a lot of catch with charge shards, as well as Snowball. Oh my, sounding like Dr. Zeus with that, but they had a lot of catch, and really they probably should have been able to get one. Winter's Curse not even being used. Surprisingly enough, they weren't able to stop the TP in the Roshan pit, as it looks like the Radiant wants top tower. So strangely enough, they're really comfortable pushing in despite the fact that they are behind. They're 1,500 gold now, I believe, on Wingman. Still nowhere near his Aghanim Scepter after that buyback, though, as Black Cat looks like he's going to be going for a Shadow Blade here. Not the item choice you would think. Radiant with a nice ward in the jungle. Going to spot a lot of the Dire hanging around here. As it looks like Shards is going to block a couple of heroes as well as creeps here. Trying to slow down the push a little bit. Bounty Hunter. He's getting a couple smokes as well as Sentry Ward's. Got to be careful though. Does lay down a ward and they immediately deward it. Do they have a gem? It looks like they do. Yes, they have a gem on the TA. Palmer Square in a whole lot of trouble. It's going to get Walrus punched up, and it looks like he will go down. Shackle Shot now on his Zap, and he will get Lotus Orb though. And he does have Power Shot, Focus Fire now as well. It looks like SwitchinLanez in a lot of trouble. There it is. Nether Strike will catch him. Quad Ulti will hit on a bunch of heroes. Ryrk now looks like will get a lot of damage output. There's BSM going to throw it on the Cold Embrace. Ryrk going to get stunned up. Perma-stun there, and he will go down. It's going to be a 3-for-0 trade. They have the Aegis, but it doesn't matter. The Radiant quite far ahead now, and they're going to look to close this one out, or at the very least get a Rax, but I don't think they have the comeback mechanisms on the Dire. They're going to have to buy back on the Queen of Pain. There it is. Ryrk will do so. 15 seconds before his ulti is off cooldown now. And Radiant still confident to go for this one. Shackle Shot will latch. Not the hero they wanted though. Palmer Squares. Or excuse me, Longer is just going to go straight on to Soleedus. And there's the Walrus Punch. Soleedus will be able to blink out, win, run away. But with no Aegis now, this defense is going to be so difficult. The Desolator dealing so much damage here to the buildings here. And there it is. Walrus Punch up on a Ryrk. He will be able to blink out of that one. Shackle Shot down to Loinger. And there it is. Zap is going to blink up on a Soleedus. Has the MKB. One more hit. Will be able to get the kill. He will buy back immediately though. Now Ryrk in a little bit of trouble. They will try to back off on this one. Radiant thinking that they've kind of overstayed their welcome. And definitely that's what has happened. As it looks like Soleedus bought back and unable to find anything off the buyback. Darkness is going to be popped. They don't want to give this one up just yet. Ryrk's going to blink in, and it looks like there's the blink. Walrus Punch back from Loinger. He will get Power Shot, Shackle Shotted, and Soleedus is going to die, and that should signal the end of the game. It looks like Requiem going to be channeled. Will hit on 3 heroes. Damage, not that much, but the damage reduction going to be enough to secure the Radiant this team fight, and it looks like that's going to be the end of it. Radiant now could just move up to this mid lane. They've got creeps in base. They could easily take this. Rack Staff in a little bit of trouble though. He's going to get hexed up. There's the Quad Ulti, the Laguna Blade as well. Zap's going to go down. Yule Scepter on his SwitchinLanez. Is he actually going to get out of this one scot-free? It looks like he will. Light Striker ready to go down. PSM, he's going to die as well. And the Dire, just like that, prevent the push. The Radiant though massively ahead here. That will kind of drop a little bit, but not all that much as the Darkness is going to wear off. Night Stalker almost finished up the Aghanim Scepter now. That's Ryrk, really aggressive. Not sure what he's looking for here, as he does have 3.4k despite buying back, and I guess he's had a huge bank for a long time. Below the Tuskar net worth wise, believe it or not though. And the Tuskar does manage to retrieve the gem out of that fight as well, which is very important. Shadow Fiend gonna buy a Butterfly, and Soleedus nowhere near MKB gold after buying back, or after dying back. Wingman just going to jungle up and look to finish up his Aghanim Scepter. DD Rune getting pinged out. Ryrk will use the Scream of Pain as well as the Sonic Wave to push out the top creep wave. Tuskar, what is he going to buy here? Looks like it'll be a Reaver, so I was thinking maybe a bit more utility. A Hex probably going to be a lot stronger, but instead he'll go for the Reaver and just tank up a little bit here. So going to be a much harder target to kill, especially alongside that Solar Crest and the Lotus Orb here. Looks like Darkness will be popped. Now Scrub betting, very aggressive, has the DD, BKB, Scotty as well, channeling the Requiem. Yule Scepter dodge though from the Lina, and now she can turn around and throw the Laguna Blade. She's going to die no matter what, just needs to do it. SwitchinLanez though, just stopping. Seems like somebody just unplugged everything he was using there, and he will go down. Quap ulti. Gonna push the creeps back here, and now the Radiant with no Lina for 70 seconds. Look like they may just barrel down the mid lane. Heart of Tarask now on the Zafin. How do they kill a 3k refracted Templar Assassin with a BKB Lotus Orb? As well as the Solar Crest. There's no way to kill Zaf. Scrub as well. Butterfly Scotty, no way they kill him either. And it looks like this will probably be the nail in the coffin here. Soleedus up front here alongside Palmer Square, and they've got to be careful. Power shot out on his Zaf. Refraction soaking up that damage though, so he does still have the Blink Dagger. There's the Blinking from Ryrk. Will use the ultimate. Won't hit onto that many heroes, and there it is. Shackle shot, not going to latch onto anything. Zaf will go straight onto Soleedus. He will pay for it with his life, and it looks like Longer is going to take a little bit of damage in the backside though. Palmer Squares will throw up the Lotus Orb of his own, and it won't really reflect anything as the Night Stalker will go down as well. Mid lane Rack's going to die, and just waiting on the GG. There it is. Soleedus will call it GG. Well played. The Radiant coming back from the ashes. They were like 8k down this game, and they come back. So good game, well played. What a freaking game that was. Good job to both teams. Dire, unfortunately, a little bit of 3-2-2 in that one, but they certainly tried. So good game, well played from both of them. And thank you, everybody, for watching here on Twitch and in-game. I'm going to continue up after this one, so do stick around as I got a lot more RD2L action. As long as they're going to be willing to play it, I'm certainly going to be willing to cast it. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. I have my series from lane to lane where I just cast some everyday pubs that you guys send me. I also do some more professional pubs like games from Koikva, Miracle, whoever I can get my hands on from Dodo Buff. I have a learning series as well, so feel free to check that out. There's some more info in the description as well as some videos linked in the annotations at the end here. Thanks a lot.